Hey guys, welcome to this episode of Let Me Tell Ya. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 pharmacy frustrations. Yes, because as you probably know by now, maybe you don't, I don't know. I work in a pharmacy. I'm not going to tell you which one, but I work in a pharmacy. There are certain things that happen and we.
You said we?
We lose our minds because it's very aggravating, these things that happen. And so we're going to talk about the top 5 today because obviously there's an excessive amount and I'm not going to go through that many. So let's go. Yay. Yes, most of these are Karen related. People maybe not understanding how the pharmacy works related. So number 5 is going to be people trying to fill their controlled substances early. What I mean by controlled substance is a medication that is legally controlled by the state, because yes, every state is different, but it is legally controlled by the state to the point where I can only fill it every so many days. It is not something I can autofill. It is not, like filling it automatically. It is not something I can call your doctor on usually. It's something you have to talk to your doctor about. There are a lot of stipulations to this medication, and it is because it is normally a highly addictive substance. Just gonna try to make this short and not lose my cool.
Flames on the side of my face.
This gets really frustrating, and I understand that sometimes it's just like people not being able to remember when it actually is due to fill, but most of it is just people who want it early. Let's just say, for instance, you get a 30-day supply of this medication. That means once I sell that to you, you have to wait exactly another 30 days before I can fill it. Not a day early. You can be late, but not a day early. It has to be 30 days. Now, of course, given those months that have 31 days, you do get it. What would seem a day early is actually not, but it's because there's been 30 days. So this month, of course, because of February only having 28 days, it has confused a lot of people because we now have to push it back 2 days to when they can fill it.
An unmitigated disaster.
So I understand some people just straight up get confused, and that's cool. It's understandable. Those people who sit here and try to argue with me about when they get to have it filled drive me insane.
Flames on the side of my face.
I said what I said, people. If I say the 18th, it's the 18th. And there's no budging on that. It is what it is. The only reason we get to fill it early is if you have a valid excuse and your doctor has to call with that valid excuse and approve it. I think what drives me crazy most about this is the conversation that the customer then says, oh, well, this is just stupid because it's only regulated because people abuse it, and damn those people who abused it because now they've ruined it for everybody. I would say 90% of the time, those people who have that conversation of, oh, well, these people who abused it are normally abusers. They just don't know they are.
An unmitigated disaster.
They are ones who always try to fill it early, get mad if it's not in stock, are hounding the doctors to send it in early. They're normally the ones. So I just think it's funny, and I think it frustrates me because of that, because it's just, yeah. So that's number 5. People trying to fill stuff early when they know good and well they cannot. Number 4 would be people expecting me to know what they take, when it needs to be refilled, and how to contact their doctor about said medication being filled. I, in my store alone, have upwards of probably 1,000 patients. There is no physically possible way for me to know every patient and what every patient is on. It's not my job to know what you're taking. I literally get to look at a profile to know what you're taking. That's how it works. Just like your doctor does. When you walk in, this is why your doctor asks you every time, are you still taking these medications? What are you taking? And update a list. We have too many patients to know what everybody is taking. It's just not feasibly possible for all of us to remember all of that. It's just not possible. I couldn't tell you how many times a day people ask me to fill their medication, and I ask, what do you need? And they're like, well, I don't know.
Bitch, are you for real?
What do you mean you don't know? You're asking me to fill something. You should know what you need filled. Well, I don't know what I'm taking. Well, that's of concern.
An unmitigated disaster.
Because you should know what you're taking, at least what it's used for. Because, I have a lot of people who are like, well, I can't pronounce the name or I don't remember the name, but it's for cholesterol. Okay, I got you. I can figure it out. But when you legitimately don't know the name or what it's for or why you're taking it, that's of concern. Like, you need to call your doctor to, make sure you're even still taking this medication. Again, because I cannot remember anything and everything of every patient I service, when you stop taking a medication, you need to tell me so that I can take it off your profile. For pharmacies, it's actually illegal for us to return a prescription that was not dispensed in error, meaning if it was on your profile, it was filled correctly, and you bought it, it's yours. You have to keep it. We can't take it back. We have a lot of people who get mad at that. They're like, well, I'm not taking this anymore. And it's like, well, did you tell us you're not taking it anymore? And most oftentimes the answer is no.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Okay, well, if you didn't tell me, the doctor didn't tell me, how am I supposed to know if you're still taking this medication? And how was I to know that I shouldn't have filled it? Well, you should just know.
Bullshit.
Guys, I am not a psychic. I do not know these things. I'd like to say I know a lot of things, but they're just some things that I don't know. Also, things I don't know is when you're going to run out of refills. When I fax your doctor, how long it's going to take for your doctor to send me refills back. Does your doctor want you to make an appointment before sending you more refills? Things I don't know. Things that if you feel might be an issue, you need to call your doctor. It's not my responsibility to do so. My responsibility is to simply fill the medication and make sure it is filled correctly and you have no allergies to it and that we're not going to kill you by you taking this medication. That's my job. Remembering what you're on, not my job. So that was pet peeve number 4. Let's go to number 3, which is insurances. Okay. I understand insurance is very frustrating and it seems like all they are out to do is to make money. Well, yes, they are. That being said, I don't get to control the prices that they make. I don't get to control the deductibles. I don't get to control what they cover and what they do not cover. So you wanting to know why your payment went up $7, why your payment went up $107. I don't know the answer to that question. That is a call to the insurance. No, I can't call them for you. It's your insurance. You have to do it. They won't talk to me. Also, why certain medications they won't cover. I don't know. I have a general knowledge, meaning most likely it's too expensive. They don't get reimbursed enough, so they won't cover it. Does it suck? Yep, it does. Is it a medication that you probably need? Yeah, probably. But I don't get to make the decision if they pay for it or not. I have no access to that. I have even... I explain this to people all the time. Literally, when I run something through your insurance, I type in the insurance information, I type in the prescription information, and I push a button.
Push the button, Frank.
That button then generates a price.
Want some?
Push the button, Frank.
I have no control over what it generates.
No, really, I insist.
Push the button.
0.
Have one.
Push the button, Frank.
0. You see it? 0 control over what that price generates.
You're not getting enough to eat.
Push the button,
0 control if it changes.
Frank.
Oh, have some.
Push the button.
Don't have control. Whew. I gotta watch myself because I'll start going hardcore in a lot of these. So again, my thing to help you with the insurance is to be very cautious when you're picking insurance. If it's not through your company, if it's a Medicare plan, if it's something that you pick, Look over their list of covered drugs. Look over their list of approval processes. Look at your deductibles. Look at your copays. Check that out before you pick that insurance. I mean, there's nothing that says you have to go with a specific insurance. So there are better plans, there are worse plans. And yes, every plan has a good side and a bad side. So you just have to decide what's the best for you. That's the best advice I can give on that one. Let me just ask a question first before this one. Do I look like a drug manufacturer? Do I look like I have a lab here in the studio, here in my, living room, in my kitchen, in my bathroom, wherever it may be? Do I look like that kind of person? I'm hoping to you the answer looks like a no, sounds like a no, is a no.
What has he had?
Because I do not have the brain, the smarts, well, I probably have the smarts, but I don't have the schooling to make drugs.
What has he had?
So when I tell you that I am out of stock of something and that I have to order it, or if something is on back order and I cannot get it in, there is nothing I can do about it except for simply look to see if another pharmacy has it and send it to that pharmacy. This has been happening a lot lately, thanks to the pandemic. Unfortunately, manufacturer companies just kind of can't keep up with the demand of things due to, limited resources, limited workers, different things here and there. But they can't keep up with demand. So a lot of drugs have been going on and off back order. And I do try to explain this to people that every pharmacy has a different manufacturer. So if my pharmacy is out, doesn't necessarily mean that the pharmacy down the street is not out, because they have a different manufacturer than I do. I understand it is an inconvenience to the patient. You don't want to have to drive all over Timbuktu to find your prescription. But if the prescription is that important, you don't want to change the medication to something else. There is nothing else to change the medication to. Sometimes you do have to reach out. I have been yelled at quite a few times in the past week alone.
I'd take a flamethrower to this place.
Because medications have been on back order. I basically feel like I am being asked to go poop some medication out in the back and put it in a bottle for people, which if I could, I'd be making millions.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Trust me, I would love to be able to do that, but but I can't. So this really is really frustrating, because I almost feel like people think that I'm trying to purposely not give them their medication, and that's never the case. I don't want anybody to go without their medicine, ever. Nobody ever does. So I will do my best to find it where I can. But that being said, if I don't have it and you're not willing to go somewhere else or change to a different medication, there's nothing I can do about that. That also being said, if we do have to change the medication, if you're willing to do that, that does require doctor's approval. I can't just switch the medications because ultimately they are all a little different. So when you sit here and you yell at me because I don't have something, it's really frustrating because it makes me feel like you don't think I care about you, and that's not the case at all. I do care very much about all my patients and want them to live the best healthy life that they can with their medicines. Just like any truck, even just like a basic retail of like a shirt, like a, clothing store. My brain just didn't want to say that.
What has he had?
What we get on the shipment is no guarantee. You get a manifest that says you're going to get A, B, C, and D, but you don't get that manifest till the day of. So I can guess that things might be on my truck, but there's no guarantee that things will be on my truck. I also have an automatic ordering system. So I am told to trust my computer that it will order the correct amount of things. Does it? Not always. In fact, it seems like it gets worse by the daily, but I have no control over it. It is unfortunately just how our systems work. I think it's how most pharmacies work, at least the retail chain ones. If you're an independent pharmacy, that's a little different. And it's because you do the ordering yourself, I'm pretty sure. So they may be able to get certain things that we can't. But that's because, they work for themselves. We work for a corporation. All right, here goes. The biggest pet peeve, the thing that drives me batshit crazy. Number one is when people drop off prescriptions and expect them to be done literally in an instant. I don't mind people waiting for prescriptions. There's nothing wrong with that, especially if it's like an antibiotic or an acute pain medicine, things that you need ASAP. Perfectly fine. Here's the thing though. In pharmacy, given the steps that we have to follow, ASAP is normally at a minimum of 10 to 15 minutes. Depending on what it is, sometimes it's more like 15 to 20. Okay, this is not because I want you to wait this amount of time. This is just because the process of filling a prescription takes me this long. From the time it takes of you handing me the prescription to me typing it in, to what I typed in being verified, to me counting, to what I counted being verified, to then now you being sold the prescription. That is not an instantaneous process. It does not happen like that. Some medications go a little faster than others, especially if it is like a solid bottle size or a box that we can just put a label on. It still has to go through all the checks, but at least I don't have to count anything. If it's a medication I actually have to count, that takes longer. I get so frustrated when I tell people, I ask them, hey, do you want to wait on it? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, give me about 15, 20 minutes. 15, 20 minutes? I thought you said I could wait on it. Well, you can. That's the wait time. People basically want to drop the prescription off and then walk down to the register and be rung up for it. And that's just not possible. I can't skip any of those steps. Those steps that I follow are there for safety precautions, to make sure that you are being dispensed the correct medication with the correct directions with the correct quantity. We also have to go through processing to make sure your insurance covers it. And if your insurance doesn't cover it, we do offer to put coupons on them or to call your doctor to get something else. We make sure that you have no allergies to the medications or allergies to ingredients in the medication. We then have to count it. We got to check it. We got to bag it. There's so many steps. And I know maybe it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's a pretty tedious procedure. It's not just this instantaneous thing that you may think. It is made for you specifically as you come. I can't rush the process. If I rush the process, there's a possibility of me killing you because I gave you the wrong medication or I wrote the wrong directions of how you to take said medication. So just a reminder, it's not that I don't want you to get your medication and I don't want you to get your medication quickly if you need it. It's the fact that I don't want to kill you in the process. I want to make sure you get the right medication at the right dosing. Please, when I tell you it's going to be 15 to 20 minutes, don't bucket me. Just go sit down. Because normally, no, it doesn't take that long. I tell you that amount of time in case there are problems. But when you bucket me, it just makes me more so want to make sure it takes that time, or if not longer, because you made me mad. I don't do that, but it makes me feel that way. Everything that we do is for safety precautions for the patient. We do not want you taking the wrong medication or in the wrong doses. So yes, that is my biggest pet peeve, is this instantaneous feeling. It goes the same for people who, if we've already been working on the medication, but we're short-staffed, and so it's taking a little longer, I can expedite those prescriptions, but again, I still have to go through the procedures. I want to make sure that it is done correctly. So when I tell you maybe something's not ready yet and I need a few more minutes, I understand. Again, I understand it's frustrating, but please know that we do this to make sure things are right. It's not like we're doing it on purpose to make sure we annoy you. If we could not annoy you, we would. We don't ever want to annoy a person. That's not our goal. So bear with us. So the pet peeve is more directed to those people dropping off prescriptions, not necessarily the ones who come and it's just not ready. Because I do understand your frustration on that part. If you go to your doctor, they send over a prescription, and you immediately come to the pharmacy, it's probably not going to be done. First off, when those prescriptions are sent electronically, it has to go from the doctor's server to my server. That is not an instantaneous process. Also, then when I get that prescription, again, it has to go through all the steps. It has to go through data entry. It has to go through data check. It has to go through production. It has to go through production check before you can have the prescription. So please don't immediately come to the store after you leave the doctor, because it's probably not going to be done. This is why pharmacies offer to call you or text you when things are ready, because 90% of the time when you get there, you probably got there too fast. Again, if it's smaller things, if it's like box things, there are certain medications that, yes, we can get done quickly, and we do our best to do so. But that's not everything. In fact, it's not most things. So with that, before I fluster myself completely, because yes, there are so many other things that aggravate me when it comes to working in the pharmacy. Again, this makes it seem like I don't like my job. I love my job. I enjoy it very much. There's just certain things I wish people understood more about my job. And this is the whole point of this video. That's the whole point of most of my videos, is just for people to understand things. When you go into a pharmacy, I mean, when you go in anywhere, you should have patience. But I know that's hard for a lot of people. It's hard for me sometimes. But when you go into a pharmacy, just have patience. Bear with the people. Remember, this is a medication. This is not like a bad hamburger where you could get food poisoning. This is not you got the wrong shirt in your order. This is something that could literally kill you if you are given the wrong thing. So take the time, calm down. If there's a stocking issue, if there's a price issue, just bear with us. We will work through you with it. But again, a lot of times our hands are tied. We can only do so much. So with that, I think I've talked long enough. If you want more pharmacy frustrations, let me know. We can definitely do another episode. Love you guys. I will talk to you later. Make sure you do comment, like, and subscribe. Click the little bell so you get all of our video updates. Check out our About section on our YouTube page if you want some merch. There is very cool stuff. And they also have the links to our podcast, the Smokin' Hot Toddcast. Some great episodes put out lately, so check those. And a bowdy. So bye!
Say it again!
We